welcome you back for a new episode of Boys and Woods podcast with my host Charles with me.
Hello, hello. Oh, it's so good to be back. So good to be back. I've missed this.
A
Weren't
week
we
of
just here? Weren't we here just a
football,
few days ago?
just a couple days ago. Yeah, we had football happening since then.
The
Lots of
best
things.
part,
Yeah,
football's back, baby. Football's back.
we got to witness a few. I guess one upset. Technically, there was a few games that went down to the wire. The first game, what was it? Nebraska and Minnesota kicked it off with a defensive slugfest. I think it ended up
Yeah.
being a field goal at the end. The Minnesota kicked a field goal to win 13-10.
Yeah, Nebraska did something wild. Or
Yeah,
actually, no,
no,
I'm sorry.
no.
I was thinking about the man.
They
fucking
set a
games.
record like 23 games or something in the last since the Hugh Freeze era or whatever that they've lost in the last 5 years. They've lost by less than 5 points or some crazy shit, just like the Detroit Lions back in the day.
Looking at their stats, they're just not good.
They're mediocre.
They're just
They're
not
average.
a good team.
Yeah, they're an average
They're
football
just
team.
not a good team. But they can stop the run.
Yeah, they can. What did they get? 55 yards or 58 yards?
I think they gave up 55 yards.
Yeah.
I think they gave up 55 yards. Yeah, they managed 181. So
Yeah.
that's not bad. That's not bad. Yeah,
Here's the thing. I don't know if you witnessed this. This is something that I picked up on. We're Michigan fans, obviously. Here's the hat, whatever. Michigan didn't have Sharon Moore. Harbaugh's out. They sat in each other's couch in Sharon Moore's house and they had a beer and a cigar.
I believe so.
football
Yeah,
game.
I believe they got into the family room in old Sharon's house.
Here's the thing. That play calling was absolutely vanilla. If anybody thinks that until Harbaugh and them are back on the field together, that the offense is going to look anything like what it's
If you think JJ McCarthy's throwing the ball 30 times a game from now until the end of the season, yeah, you're crazy. It was really nice to see JJ's stats. It was because he can, but I think he's going to have those stats with more touchdowns, but with less attempts. I'm thinking he's going to be more around the 17 to 25 attempts.
What I noticed
25 to 35.
They were facing a 10-man front throughout the entire game. They give East Carolina all the credit in the world. They said, we're not going to let you run the football down our throats, and they didn't. No. Michigan did not do it.
And something that scared me too, and in a really good way, dude, was that I haven't seen this, and not because it hasn't happened, but
they couldn't get any pressure on him, and they blitzed like 12 times. It was
East Carolina got beat so many times on the blitz that they stopped blitzing.
Yeah,
Michigan beat the hell out of them on that blitz, man. I wish I had the numbers up.
There was one that I watched that I was super impressed. Donovan Edwards will be an NFL caliber running back because of what he can do. He's learning from Blake Corum. He literally stood a dude up that is probably a linebacker that was probably 250, 260.
Yeah.
Edwards frickin' stood him up at the line of scrimmage and frickin' stuffed him. And that's something you don't see from running backs. Michigan does it a lot, though. Yeah, that's one thing they do well is stop the run. Yes, they do. They do well.
Something that I really loved seeing too I haven't seen it in a decade was everyone on that football field wearing Michigan believed. And it was like watching a top 2 team in the country play. Our quarterback is a top country. Our offensive line is fantastic. Our defensive line is fantastic. Our corners are ready. Our safeties are big hitters. Yeah. Michigan has come to play.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think the defense is definitely always ahead of the offense most of the time when you start the season. And Michigan's defensive line was supposed to be top 10. That looked like a top 5 defense.
Absolutely.
That defense, maybe not the cornerbacks and stuff. They're not there yet, but they'll get there. But their defensive line is absolutely freaking nuts. Like they were getting a defensive push into the offensive backfield like almost every single play.
And that's the kicker, right? So you look at a few of those throws on the defense, a couple of those interceptions, and you're like, yeah, a better quarterback makes that throw. Under
One
that
interception.
not not
They called the other one back. They called the other one
yeah,
back.
yeah, yeah. I don't believe
Absolute
that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
well,
I know it already happened, and
full-hearted
I know it exists.
let's just say it. Let's be honest. They pulled it back because McCarthy's touchdown wasn't a touchdown. I
I
watched it.
agree.
I watched it, and his
Oh,
foot touched
absolutely.
down.
Maybe when
Yeah,
he let go of the ball, the one tip was still on the line.
that's
But
what.
the commentators had all come to agree with the fact that it was the camera angle wasn't good
Yes, that.
enough.
Yes, they tried to pitch the camera angle thing. Okay, whatever. I don't
Yeah.
mind the Homer fans, but it's come on. Let's be realistic. And by the way, that wasn't going to be the reason they won or lost the game. They weren't going to not win the game
No,
because of that play.
I am
Yeah,
disgusted our first touchdown of the year is that.
yeah.
I agree.
But I guess we'll break down a couple other games before we get into what we really
Yeah.
want to talk about
Well,
here.
and to your point also, I really think Michigan's biggest issue, the reason we didn't put up 90 was because the king and queen on the chessboard, they
Well,
just
they're not,
weren't there.
and they're not going out there trying to get players hurt. They weren't running trap plays. They didn't pull a
I
guard.
was no, I was
They weren't
definitely
leading
shocked,
outside.
dude. I was
They
shocked to see the people that were in
dude,
11 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
they tried to run the ball between the tackles, which is not their strong suit this year. I believe that maybe with Nugent at center, he's not quite as athletic as they
No.
need him to be, and
Well,
maybe that will lead them to having him pull more and be a lead
no.
blocker instead of, hey, lead the charge up the gut.
It'll be nice to have more back, and he'll be back September 9th, UNLV, CBS. My internet said 3:30. I'm not sure if that's Eastern or I'm guessing that's probably Eastern. East
Yeah.
Coast time, 3:30 p.m. East Coast. It says CBS. The internet was talking like we were going to have another game on Peacock. And we'll break down some few things. I do want to just point out how just horrible Peacock was. And it
The
was if
fact that everybody was lagging, everybody was complaining. That's all I read was it's lagging. Is it? Hey, everybody, is it
yeah,
lagging? Yeah.
you if you looked away for a second, you had to restart your app. It was like, hey, your eyes aren't here, froze. You're like, what the
Right.
F? There was a good portion of the population apparently that had decent Peacock service. But yeah, F you. Stop putting the games on Peacock. I'm sick of it. They didn't fix the same damn problems last year,
Well, they
same
had the Brewer
problems this
games
year.
on too. Did you see that? They had the Brewer games on Peacock.
Was
The
that
ones that we were
yesterday?
at. Yeah, but yesterday, the last few days they were on Peacock.
Yeah. I'm gonna shit my pants if that's where they go because Bally Sports
Oh,
went up. How do you go?
yeah.
How do you get all these programs you go under? Cut the
They
head off the snake. Stop putting that head on another body, weirdos. It's not that
no,
hard to figure
that's
out.
because they're going up against the machine. The
Damn
four-letter
common sense.
no, they went up against the four-letter network, which is owned by, like, the six-letter network, so,
Yeah.
it is what it is, that monster.
Hey,
Yeah.
what's something? Oh yeah,
Uh,
Ohio State didn't look great.
no, they didn't look great, but with the
Indiana's tough playing at Indiana to start the season. And new quarterback, new running back. I agree, but whoo,
when you've got two of the you probably have two, let's be honest, those are probably the two best receivers in college football. That's not two that they probably are. One of them is a damn Heisman candidate, Marvin Harrison Jr. That's not as a Michigan fan, let's not jump around it. The dude is unreal. He's unbelievable.
he's so good.
So if you can't get him the ball, he had what? I think he only had 26 yards
Dude,
receiving.
I don't think he had a throwing touchdown.
So what that tells me is that white boy quarterback is not going to be playing quarterback if he can't get that guy the ball. Let's just be honest. It's not. He won't be. He
No,
won't be
I
out there
agree.
throwing him the ball.
I
So,
agree.
yeah, Ohio State didn't look the greatest. They came off to a slow start. They did win. Wisconsin got off to a slow start versus Buffalo. I think they were only up 10-7 early in the second or middle of second quarter, and they ended up winning pretty decent. They won by 20, I think, or something like that. The other team that I was not really impressed with, I guess, is Penn State. They didn't manhandle like I thought they would. With having the second best offensive line in the Big Ten, and they said supposedly the second best defense in the Big Ten and top 10 defense, and they looked like they were playing backwards football too. They didn't seem like they had that grind, that dog in them like they say they do, and that's just probably because their
I
coaches up
mean, given up.
whatever.
They gave up 8 in garbage time, so they gave up 7 in the real points. Yeah. Yeah.
They
I'm
just
looking at after week 1. Normally, I'm worried about the Ohio State game, and I'm worried about the Penn State game. Normally after week 1. this I'm thinking Georgia's in trouble. That's watching week 1, that's where my mind was at. Holy shit. If JJ McCarthy makes these throws and that defense shows up like it's going to show up, god damn. Because Blake Corum's going to run all over you. Blake Corum ain't running all over you. Edwards is going to run all over you. That's going to happen. They're going to get theirs. That's who they are. Our biggest issue last year was JJ not being who he is today, and
they've
our
got
defense
tests.
just took a poop.
No, they got two really tough games this year versus Ohio State and Penn State. So I'm not
I agree. I
I'm not even
agree.
gonna be looking ahead to Georgia. I don't even think Georgia's gonna get there. I bet you Alabama's gonna win that
Alabama looks
conference.
tough.
I don't think Georgia's getting there.
Alabama looks tough.
And
And
the way
Florida
that
State beat LSU,
yeah,
which, by the way, I guess Florida State's in the ACC. Didn't
yeah,
even realize that.
yeah, come on.
And Miami's in there. I
Let's
didn't know
pitch
that
it.
either.
Let's pitch it.
That's crazy.
Let's pitch it. Let's get them. Let's get Florida State over here. Then we'll have freaking the
I'm wondering, we're headed to that part of the country, so I do want to bring up real quick. Man, the Pac-12. Yeah, how is still nobody talking about that conference? The dude running it, how he just killed it after 100 some years. It's gonna once the top comes off, it's gonna boil over like crazy. I'm telling you, something's gonna come out about that circle. That Pac-12 commish did a horrible job.
Here's the kicker. Where is Colorado gonna go after this is all said and done? They're not joining
They're going to the ACC. I'm telling you, they're going to the ACC
they're gonna
because they're
go to
not
the
going to go.
ACC.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah,
they can be Clemson's bitch. All right.
yeah, because they're not. They wouldn't if they come to the Big Ten. They're going to be. Actually, you know what? They'll probably be in the Big Ten. They'll probably be in the Big Ten West.
No, I don't think they'll bring Colorado in. They don't want that
I'm
smoke.
telling you.
They don't want that. No. They don't want that. That's just
That
There's
was
too much negative publicity around this team. Let's break
in
it
the
down.
terms of publicity. In the terms of publicity, though, good or bad,
They don't need
it's
it.
still in the
Big Ten
eye.
doesn't need it though. Big Ten doesn't need
I
that.
agree with you. I
Because
agree
there's
with
it's
you, but
already that's not gonna be it's not gonna be a big game. Colorado versus Wisconsin is not gonna be a big game. Colorado versus Michigan wouldn't even be a big game because it'd be a 28
but
point dog.
Washington and USC and Oregon, all of those it'll be a way. Although that's looking at it with common sense. We have to remember we're talking about, and by I have to remember we're talking about the NCAA here. They do not use any common sense at all. So I'm going to stick with my first guess here and say the ACC, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they're going to get busted anyway. They're going to be ineligible. There's no way that the top doesn't come off this, that they paid recruits. If Harbaugh gets caught with a cheeseburger, Deion's getting caught with his hands in his wallet for sure. 100%.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. There's
no way
much more to that. There's no way you get the kinds of recruits they're getting without illegal benefits. There's just no way.
Does the NIL?
What's that?
Yeah, I was actually just reading the article too. The school didn't have the money to pay Deion when they signed him.
Yeah, where'd the money come from?
It took the school boosters coming together. School boosters raised 28 million, and then they sold out the spring game, and that selling out the spring game put the rest of the money on top of it. So now they're in the green. Now they're making money from all this prime stuff. But hell, at this point, if you didn't have the 29 million to pay them this year, you might as well start taking that money you're making for next year, put 29 million aside, and then start taking off the top.
Here's the thing. There's absolutely nothing about this Colorado team that it makes me want to watch their games. It's because Deion Sanders is your coach. Like, they're not entertaining to the point where, oh my God, this is a national championship contender. They're entertaining if you want to watch it.
It's like watching a Big 12 game. There's
it's
no
like
defense.
like watching
There's no
Texas
defense.
Tech.
It's just whoever has the ball last score. That's who wins those games.
And I hate to tell you, you and I both know this. You play USC.
How many national championships come out of that play style?
Not
Zero.
one. Not one. Zero. Not one. Because even when Oregon was doing it, Oregon was probably the best one at it.
When Chip Kelly was there?
Chip Kelly was there. And guess what? They went to the national title game, I think to the playoff, and they got their asses handed to them.
Smacked. So, they came up against a defense that played defense.
Yep.
Because these defenses that you're playing up against, that TCU's defense per se, you are not going to see that pressure that you're going to get from Oregon's defense or South Carolina's defense or the Trojans.
And right, and
Right.
we'll be completely honest. I'll look at this with a blindfold on and be like, they caught Michigan last year. They caught them. That's a one-time off deal. Any other 9 times out of 10, Michigan wins that game by 20 points.
Yeah. If
Just
the
caught
game
them. They caught them
started
on the
in
right night.
if the game started at the end of the 3rd quarter, Michigan wins that game.
Yeah, like, and the fact they called back a touchdown that was a touchdown. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
People forget about that too.
But there are a few really cool things inside of this story. For one, that Hunter kid is out of this world. I wish he was on a better team. But I don't know if he was playing. I don't know if he'd be playing 2 positions if he was in a different team.
That's the thing. Where are people getting the stats that he's out of this world? He had an interception and he had 100 yards receiving and 11 catches. So he averaged 10 yards of reception. How is that?
Their total defense was shit, but him in a personal spotlight sense, he had 6 pass deflections. The kid did a lot, and he put out 130 some snaps.
Yeah, but
That's
that's not gonna last. That's not gonna
No, I know,
last.
I agree, I agree.
Oh, I don't
I'm saying there's a shining star in this fucking dark cloud that
no,
is
that
fucking
that
Colorado.
no, that shining star is Shadur Sanders. If anybody balled out, it was fucking him with 400 and whatever, almost 500 fucking passing yards. No, he's the star. I will give him 100% props because he balled out and did what he was supposed to do. I think the guy only threw 7 incompletions or something. He was ridiculous.
They had 81% completion, over
Yeah.
500 yards, and yeah, he set a bunch of records. I was laughing, I was thinking to myself, I was like, "Does Deion Sanders let his kids' records be broken?
Whatever. Yeah, I don't
Or do they Adrian Peterson them like the Vikings did, 6 yards away from breaking the all-time rushing record in a season, and they passed the ball twice in a row."
I'll give you 2 hot takes right now. A guy just freaking told me that he says they're going to the playoff, which I said, if they go to the playoff, hit me up because you can take my seat on the podcast and you could be the host for the next episode moving forward. But here's the kicker. That's not gonna happen. A. B, you're more than welcome to come on the podcast because I'd love to hear what you have to say because that just makes me fucking laugh. A.
Yeah.
And A2, A1, A2, B2, B2, B1. The next one is they're gonna get smacked.
Oh, yeah,
They're gonna
yeah.
get smacked.
And I hate it because they might beat and I'm saying might loosely beat Nebraska,
But
which is
how?
really gonna carry smoke.
If you just how?
I don't think Nebraska has the ability to keep up with Colorado's offense.
Nebraska's terrible. They were off. They were picked to be like 10th in the Big Ten.
I
For
know, that's
God,
what I'm saying.
this makes no sense to me. How did you just beat TCU and you're only a buck and a half favorite over a team that is like reeling? I don't care.
Yeah,
That team has no
no,
offensive
and I blame it on the state itself, to be
ability.
honest with you. It just smells like cow shit and is
But
brown.
I'm sorry, but if Vegas is putting you at a buck and a half favorite at home versus a team that you should beat, I thought they would beat Nebraska anyway.
Yeah,
I thought they would lose,
I had Nebraska chalked up as a win, not TCU, but I
and I'm sorry.
Nebraska was tough.
We fucking know this. Vegas knows if there's buck and a half favorite, do not bet Colorado to win. Bet Nebraska because that what they're trying to bait you into is that you're going to take Buffalo and Nebraska's going to friggin' win. Because you get 3 points at home
Yeah.
in the NFL or in college. You get a field goal. So that means they're technically a point and a half underdogs, which means Vegas is not betting on Colorado to win this football game.
No, and that might be they lost. They probably and they probably didn't lose a lot of money either. I'm willing to bet they made a lot of money on Colorado beating TCU.
Oh, for sure, because they baited everybody in, especially the line at
I wonder how many
halftime.
angry bets there were. I wonder how many people bet against Colorado just because of the scenario.
Yeah, don't see that's the thing. You said that they kept saying that too. I don't want to beat a dead horse about this, but
Right.
you said it to me. We talked about this earlier. You said they didn't even call them the number 17 TCU Horned Frogs. They call them the runners up, national runners up from last year. Why would you say that?
Yeah.
If this is a completely different team and they've got none of the same players, like I sent you the stats, like I don't know if I
Yeah.
did or not, but they're missing
Yeah.
60% of their offense from last year. The quarterback's not there. Dugan's gone. They're missing
Yeah.
their 2 top receivers. All 3 of their running backs who ran the ball for them last year that
Yeah.
touched the football, all 3 gone.
Yeah. I'm just
Good.
laughing my ass off too. The sports center the next morning started off with the one dude going, "Just so you know, I was on the train the whole time. I was on the train the whole time." And the other commentator laughed. He goes, "He's talking about Colorado." I'm like, everyone
Yeah.
knew who he was talking about. That's all
Yeah,
everyone's talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
right now. It's so
Jesus Christ.
weird.
I
It's
don't
fucking
get
who
it.
cares? I
I
did
don't
like
get
his
it.
sunglasses. His sunglasses on the sidelines were the
Oh, the
reflective shit.
fact that he
Yeah.
was wearing, like, $50 buffs, he was wearing, like, the
Yeah.
blenders, the buffs,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Those were fucking neat. Those are
I get
neat.
it. I get it. We can move on, but next week, I got Nebraska winning 27 to 23.
Dude, I love that hoodie. I agree.
Yes. Yes, these are the hoodies from millions.co. If anybody is interested in purchasing one, these are our hoodies from
Wow,
millions.co.
they came in real nice.
Yeah, just a
How,
touch.
how does it feel?
It feels like it's nice and fuzzy and soft on the inside.
Yeah?
It's not that,
All
yeah, it's not
right,
that,
I'm gonna order
yeah.
some. I'm gonna order some. If we end up because we want to do some tailgating too for the Packers here. We'll get into that later. We'll get into football. The Colorado thing, though, you're absolutely right. It was hype, hype, hype,
Yeah, I don't
and
wanna
it's
take
just
anything I wanna
it's
take
weird.
nothing away from Dion and his kids and the fact that they balled out, and they did win that game. They showed everybody that they can play
They
football.
showed that
That
they
is
belong in the Big 12.
yes,
Absolutely.
that's not a question. The question is everybody's complaining that they were only predicted to win 2 games this year. Who gives a shit? Y
Right.
Start beating teams that you weren't supposed to beat on a consistent basis, then start talking smack.
Right.
I don't like that Dion is coming out and trying to puff his chest and say, "Y'all didn't know. Y'all didn't know, but y'all know now." I don't like that shit. I don't like
Right.
that shit. I don't care if that was Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State, Wisconsin. You just until you prove yourself day in and day out, week in and week out in college football, don't talk.
Yeah. Week one is nothing.
Come on, Charles,
Week
say
one
it.
is nothing.
Keep your top 25 mouth shut.
Yeah. Last year's runner up was 17 in the country. And the only reason they were 17 in the country is because they were last year's runner up. Otherwise, they would have been 21st in the country.
They're only like 14-point favorites over Troy at home
Yeah.
next week. 14
Yeah.
point favorites. Dude, it's Troy. Come
Yeah.
on.
The curtains have closed on the TCU window.
I'm just
I
sorry, but
mean,
if Troy played Alabama, they're going to lose by 55. But
yeah.
Troy's playing TCU and you guys had them at 17 in the country. I bet you that Troy gives them a hell of a football game, if not win. If not
Yeah.
wins.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And
There's one other thing I wanted to bring up about the whole college football thing too. There's ESPN, CBS, NBC, all of them just flooding your Facebook, your Instagram, your TikToks, all your stuff with this stuff. You can't tell me that those boosters didn't pay money for them to advertise this because it's all over the place. Why are they pushing Buffalo? Why are they pushing Dion in this Buffalo headline? If you weren't paid, dude, somebody better do the hey, we're IAP accredited. Let's do the investigation ourselves.
I
Let's
know
look
it.
into this. Were there bags of money transferred so that you guys talk about them? Because they're not that interesting, and you guys are making it seem like they are.
I've
See this
never
thing?
heard so much
See,
about a
see this thing
projected
behind me right here? Be careful because Charles and I could be coming for your asses. We'll find you.
I've never
Find that
heard
money trail.
so much hype around a 2.5 win team. Even when Michigan was going really wrong, they weren't talking about how wrong Michigan was going as much as they're talking about how much there could be happening in Colorado.
Let's put in this perspective. They didn't talk about App State after they upset number 5 Michigan as much as they're
Right.
talking about Colorado. And Colorado is a D1 team. They've always been a D1 team.
Hell, they
You
made
guys
a 30 for 30 about that Appalachian State stories.
I know you are they gonna do a 30 for 30 about Dion and freaking his buffs
Oh,
now?
I promise you. Hard Knocks will be going to Colorado next year, and they'll be doing their first ever HBO special, college style Hard Knocks.
I
Take
don't
it to the bank.
take
Take
it
it to
to
the
the bank.
bank.
I don't know how they're gonna do that though, with there being like some minors on that team because there'll be
They
some
pay
17.
NIL money, man. It's fine. It's
No, no,
fine.
no.
NIL
I'm
money.
saying that there's gonna be
Yeah, I
some
know.
17-year-old kids in that locker room. How are they gonna do that?
Just blur them bitches out. Straight up blur them out.
Here you go. Here's Tommy Two Thumbs is back there. Freaking, he can't be on Hard Knocks because he's only
Yeah.
17.
Just blur him out and make his voice.
Touchdown,
Hell yeah, man. We're
Dion.
going to go get that lunch right after this practice. I love where your mind's at.
Cheeseburgers for everybody.
I wouldn't watch that either.
Speaking of which, did you see like the Michigan team? The
Yeah,
formation and all the four up, four
the choo-choo
fingers.
train.
The choo choo. Can't stop the train, bitches. Yeah, I thought that was fantastic. Good on them for honoring him. I went to a couple Brewer games over the week. I got to go twice. I got to go see him play the Padres and they won, and I got to go see him play the Phillies and they won.
I know, I was thinking to myself, I was like, "Fuck, Pat's about to run out of money. He's
I
gotta
don't
go to
know.
every game until the end of the year because when
I
you go,
know.
they win."
Yeah, Evan, thanks a lot for inviting me and Mandy to go. I appreciate it. Yeah, it was fun. Those seats. I don't like the seats though. Like anywhere, the closer you are to this to the third baseline and to the good seats, like the shittier. I'm fat. Like I'm a big
Yeah.
guy. I'm not comfortable in like those seats. Like they rub me the wrong way, literally, physically.
Yeah. I
I'm fat, whatever it is.
Yeah,
I
I
I
was
guess
like, "Dude,
I
I'm
guess I just
bony as
need to lose
shit."
weight.
I've even got I fucking wear
You bring
this
the
when
T-Rats cushion. All right, yeah.
dude, I wear that on the podcast because my chair's shitty.
Yeah, I just don't like mine squeaks. It's
Yeah,
when you're moving around, yeah.
yeah. I gotta bring that everywhere, man. Yeah, I got a bony butt, dude. So
Yeah.
that's it's bony butt problems. Definitely. Let's wrap up some football chatter. Let's wrap up some football chatter. I do want to just point out that Colorado's defense in total yards is 230th, and or I'm sorry, Colorado's defense giving up 541 yards ranks 230th in the country. Passing
Yeah.
yards 279, tied 195th in the country. They gave up 262 rushing yards. That's 225th in the country.
I
They
think
gave up
they
42 points. That's tied for 214th in the country, and they give up a third down percentage almost 60% of the time. That's
yeah.
58.8% of the time, tied for 226th in the country. Defense wins championships. Enough of the Colorado major media outlets. That's crazy.
Yeah, take it to the bank. This little pony show is gonna be over just before you guys know it, so I don't wanna hear anybody saying they jumped on or off the bandwagon after they get blown out by, like, 30.
And if you want to go hear their positive yards, go to ESPN or something because you're here for the truth.
This isn't the podcast for you. We're gonna tell you how it is. We're gonna be brutally honest, 100%. Like you
Cheese
said,
and rice.
unfiltered, unscripted, as always. Charles and I giving our hot takes on what we believe is the truth. Like you guys can, it's all opinion, but I mean, it's more likely the general opinion. There's more people on our side than there are against us on most things.
I
Not
go
saying
to the
all things,
Walmart you
most
go
things.
to. I talk to the people you talk to,
Right.
right? It's not I don't sit at a table. We don't sit at a table with 9 people and this is what we're going to tell everyone.
This isn't gambling advice. This is just two dudes with two honest opinions. Sometimes Charles and I's opinions are not even relatively close. Sometimes he's completely on the other end of the spectrum when it comes to stuff. So it's not like him and I that talk
Way
about.
out there.
Yeah, sometimes we don't talk about this before we get on the show. We're just like,
No.
yes, let's touch on that. And you're like, then all of a sudden you're like, you don't want to say it, but you're like, yeah, I don't believe that. But that's what makes it great because if you have the same
That's what
ideas,
makes live radio makes it
yeah.
much better. Absolutely. Yeah. To have a goddamn Todd and Todd up here talking about Kyle makes no sense.
Yeah. And that's why I'm really interested to have Keith on. If Keith, if you're listening, Keith Murphy, love to have him on. He's all about coming on and speaking some college sports with us. He's got to do the Iowa State game next week, but after that, he says he's got some availability. It'd be really nice to pick the brain of a college mind, somebody who's
Yeah.
in this. They do this for a living. This is something they're passionate about, and they know a hell of a lot more than we do. Like we're just two hacks out here trying to make it work every day. So
My best explanation for it is we're one of the top armchair CEOs of a sports organization you'll find.
oh, I gotta use that. Let's put that in there
Let's
for
put
the
that in
yes,
there.
send that to me. I'll definitely put that in there because as of right now, our Instagram says we're just here so we don't get fined.
I'm not sure what to do with my hands.
I don't know. Yeah.
Singapore today, actually. Wohemba for everyone
60
out there in Singapore
68
wondering.
new listeners since the last time.
Hey,
Hey.
ni hao. Apparently, all Singaporean children age up to 6 years old in 2023 will receive a one-off top-up of $400 to their child development account, CDAs, from mid-September. The Ministry of Finance, MOF, and the Ministry of Social and Family Development, MSF, said on Monday, September 4th. So I'm not going to break in too much to that, but well done, Singapore, and taking care of your children. And I hope I'm not overstepping bounds. Maybe they're trying to make up for the fact that they're shitty about it. But
Maybe.
hey, they're doing something. And this is cool, actually. It says it's going to benefit up to 240,000 children, the ministry said in a joint media release.
Oh, good on them. Was
Good
that
on
part of
them.
their election thing, or was this just something that
Oh, I
they
wonder how
were?
their elections went, their election day
Oh, so
went. Now, this was just
this is just a fact that you found out about.
Singapore
Wow.
today in the last 14 hours. Yeah, yeah. I
See
try to drop a Singapore today fact, and I
see,
keep it within 24 hours.
this is why I like it when you do the news. There's positivity. There's positive things going on. See, if we were reading the news around here, it'd be all negative vibes, and that's not
Yeah,
what we do,
yeah.
even though we were negative in the beginning, but it's
Yeah.
sports related. So if you get triggered by
And
sports, then you're part
sports
good
negativity,
on you.
sports negativity is
Is what
mistermed.
drives.
I think it's sports passion. People mistake passion for negativity.
But I think that's what drives all men too.
I
Like,
agree.
shout out Scotty Boys. That was an absolutely fantastic video that he posted about all men just want one thing. And then he like has a screen where he posts it. And there's 4 screens and it's 4 football games going on at once. And he's like, no, we want 4. That's very
Yeah.
true. The
I was
4-way.
sitting that is too. I was sitting here thinking to myself, this college football, I'm like, man, that one TV's on the wall real good. I'm not sure how I'm gonna get that off. I
You're
said,
like
but if I
picture
can
in
get that
picture.
TV off, I can get the laptop going on the multi-screen. I can do the iPod next to me. I said, I could have 5 fucking screens, man. I'm like,
Yeah, we
I
should.
wouldn't miss a thing.
Shit, maybe we should if we can't get to a Packer game, maybe one of these days we should do that. We should have you over for a Packer game and we'll just freaking have 6 games going on upstairs in
Yeah.
the screen at one time. Ooh, we're back in
Outside of natural disasters.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be at the Packer games though.
I just talked to Alex too about him teaming up with us on that. I talked to him for about a half hour on the phone. So we're possibly would be having Scotty Boys join us, him and Logan. They run a fantastic podcast. Scotty Boys, if you guys are interested, check them out. They've got merch, they got all kinds of stuff. They should be joining us for an episode and possibly for some tailgating in the near
Oh,
future at
that'll
some
be fun.
Packer games. Maybe we'll get the shot ski out there and you guys can have some fun.
My in-laws live super close,
Well, there you
so
go.
we
It'll
could
be
get
a
just
party.
yeah, we just get
Uh,
effed up. They will
Just get a
taxi me, and then I'll just sleep on their couch.
Here you
It'll
go.
be awesome.
Get a couple tents out there, and we can just hang out for the game. It's gonna be a
Yeah,
fantastic time.
we've got the big
Canopy.
topper for it's got Green Bay Packer all over it.
Oh
Sam's.
yeah, there you go.
Oh, where'd I go? Yeah, we got it from Sam's Club, so we'll be able to
Yeah,
post that up that from a mile away. Probably not a
right.
mile.
Yeah,
Maybe if you're a bird, which
yeah.
you can definitely see it if you're a bird.
Well, to get like an
Um,
8 foot flag.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, definitely. We'll probably blow it up like Live Golf too, just massive speakers.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Ryder Cup, when is it? September 29th. So you're going to hear a whole bunch about it from now until then. Not from us, but if you're in the golf world,
When
out
are
and
the
about.
teams? When are the teams picked?
So I was just about to go over those because that's the most exciting thing until it starts. The teams have been picked, and they are
Ooh,
Luke Donald is the captain of the European team, and they are as such: Rory McIlroy, John Rahm, Robert McIntyre, Victor Hovland, Tyrell Hatton, Matt Fitzpatrick, Tommy Fleetwood, Sepp Straka, Justin Rose, Shane Lowry, Nikolai Hojengard, and Ludwig Kugberg.
and
I'm sure I
John
fucked
Daly will be
those
the
last
cart
two.
girl.
I'm sure I have those last two up. Lots of familiar faces, a few call outs. Sepp, Robert McIntyre, and Nikolai, followed by Ludwig. Those are brand new faces, young faces actually, and they're probably in due to the Europeans' view on live, which you will
Yeah,
absolutely hear a little bit as we talk about the US team roster, because there is a live member on our USA roster, and deservedly so. The USA roster: Captain Zach Johnson, Sam Burns, Patrick Cantlay, Wyndham Clark, Ricky Fowler, Brian Harmon, Max Homa, Brooks Kepka, Colin Morikawa, Xander Schauffele, Scotty Scheffler, Jordan Spieth, and Justin Thomas. Brooks Koepka was a captain's pick via the Live Tour, so he deserves to be on the team. He's very
Right.
good, a very good golfer. You don't have to follow golf much, but if
No.
golf is somewhat in your life, you know who Brooks Koepka is. That's cool. Sam Burns, Brian Harmon. It's good to see him on there. Max Homa. It's all a pretty basic squad. There was a little bit of hoopla with the Justin Thomas pick, but Justin Thomas's record in the Ryder Cup, he's like 25-2, man.
Yeah.
You
You got to go
gotta
with a
have
ringer. You got to get a ringer
you
on there.
gotta have Justin in there. He didn't have a great year.
You guys have ever golfed in a scramble? You got to have a ringer. Guy might be a terrible like golfer by himself, but man, if he's
Yeah,
a
he
good,
might be having a bad singles year, but he is
yeah,
going to play well, and we're going to love to see him on that.
there you go.
So again, the coverage starts September 29th,
9,
but
correct.
the location this year is in Europe. It's in Italy. There's going to be a time thing. We're going to be watching it, I think, more so between the hours of 4 a.m. and 10 a.m.
Right.
than 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. or whatever the fuck it was.
You want to do a smooth transition?
Let's do smooth transition. Let's do
All
it.
right. Since you were bringing up Europe, should we not talk about the elephant in the room with Lithuania's upset over the United States in
Yeah,
the
I really think
World
we should.
Basketball Championship?
I would love to end this. I would love to end the show on this note. Absolutely. Way to go again, USA.
Yes, dropping the ball, literally dropping the ball.
Hi, fucking Lithuania. Isn't that where Dr. Doom's from? Or is that Latvia?
I don't know. I did give you one take that I had on it was the fact that Austin Reeves was 1 for 5 or 1 for 4 with 4 points or something, and he had 5 turnovers or 5 fouls or some
Yeah.
crazy weird stat that he was just terrible. Let's just say
Lithuania
it.
take down United States of America. Oh, that's the Instagram post.
Yeah.
Austin Reeves was 1 for 4 with 5 fouls. Yeah.
Yeah, nuts. And
You know,
the
I'm
whole
just sick of it, man. I'm so sick of like we walk into these sports scenarios where we call it the NBA calls themselves champions of the world. Yet here we
Right.
are losing to Lithuania.
I think the thing that bothered me the most is the fact that Anthony Edwards had like a fucking fantastic game. He had 38 points. He was
He's been killing it the whole
he
FIBA.
only one that apologized for his play.
Yeah.
I need to be better. Bro,
If
you're
you
the one
have
that freaking
Anthony
balled
Edwards
out.
rookie cards or just any cards of him at all,
He's
please
gonna be
save
good.
them and take care of them. Please take care of them.
He
Put them
reminds
in
me of
top
like a
loaders.
more athletic Kevin Johnson.
Yeah. Fanatics has some really good articles and areas to go pick all that kind of shit
Yeah,
up. if you're
Fanatics
looking.
has some fantastic merch, some fantastic card deals. Right now, I believe if you type in the word fall, you get 60% off most of the website. Stuff that's in stock, 60% off, man. That's a hell of a deal if you're a big fan of sports merch.
Yeah,
I don't think
Fanatics
cards
is
are on there though. Yeah.
not yet, but they did just get it's huge right now. I guess there's something in arbitration. I'm guessing about Panini and the NFL contract and it going to Fanatics and yada yada yada.
So Charles and I are big fans of Topps Chrome. Topps Chrome. The Cosmics are out. Man, those are some fantastic.
I know. I gotta
cards.
jump. I gotta jump in that auction. I'm gonna jump after we get done here. I'm gonna go in the auction actually.
I love it. Yeah, but okay. Yep. Cut that.
Yeah. Just down the road. That'll be the point to pick it back up from.
Oh, speaking of which, did you see that I sent you that in Clintonville there's going to be a sports card thing, which is an hour away?
I did not.
North. Yes, it's October 28th. It's in Clintonville, Wisconsin. We should go.
Yeah.
We might be able to get rid of some of our cards and maybe beep some more.
Oh yeah, no, I'm going. Yeah, I'm going. I'm going.
Now we're going.
Definitely.
Like,
Yeah. You
like,
coming?
Yeah, I'm going.
All right.
Like,
Well,
who's coming with you? I was like, all right, yeah, we'll ride together. I'll pick you up.
Yeah, sounds good to
go.
me. Sounds good to me. We'll split gas.
There
Get
you
it
go.
in Oshkosh first, though. It's cheaper than the further you go up north.
My God, yeah. I think it's ridiculous. The gas prices are freaking
Definitely don't want to get it in Nino. We don't sell alcohol in our gas stations, so we charge 14 cents more here. And
Yeah,
so
when I
you
lived
just go fucking 7 minutes up the road. It's
it's been like that since I lived there too. Like, I used to live by that one Irish, like, Oaks golf course or something
yeah,
in there, and I remember the quick trip there, stopping in there one time, and I was like, "Oh, go home and get some beer or whatever." I was in my 20s. I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna just go home from work, get home at 6." Yeah, and you have beer in there. Like, it's
no,
just food, set up stuff. I'm like, "This is weird." And it's
yeah,
always been like that. And it just has some weird laws,
weird
but
20 rag. Yep.
whatever, man. Like, you keep good on you. It keeps the DUIs down and the alcoholics at bay, but
And for those who are just getting into the WNBA,
yes, yes.
so you had sent me the link and we were laughing about it. We are like, yeah,
But that
yeah.
wasn't even that wasn't recent, but still, it exemplifies the WNBA's thought process on why they don't have the amount of fans that they do. That's a prime example right there. Go ahead
Yeah.
and just color it up, Charles, and explain it to everybody of what happens in this little video that I sent you.
So there's 15 seconds left on the clock and Seattle's down 85-90 to Chicago. And Chicago misses the free throw and they get the ball. And right off the bat, you're like, wow, there's absolutely no hustle whatsoever.
No.
By the
Walk
time the ball crosses the line, actually, they should have gotten a backcourt violation
right.
because it was almost sub 5 seconds by the time
Yeah.
the ball got to the top of the key. And then they just held the ball and they're down by 5. Well, it's like the ultimate form of tanking without tanking because it's just what was expected.
All right, it's just
It's
disappointing.
much better today, but that is normal. When you
I'm just saying you can't ask for more fans and more money to be at your games and you give that effort. You just can't. I wouldn't expect my boss if he found out I was giving a piss poor effort at work and then say, "Hey, I want more money." And then they see this, like they've got camera of me just like not doing my fucking job. I would feel terrible about that too. I would feel the same way.
like when they were in the bubble and all of them conditions had come out, yeah, that was pretty awful.
Yeah.
But up until that point, the product that was being delivered was not worth what was being asked for. The product today is much better and it's getting way better. It's funny too because you're seeing a hell of a lot of records be set and broken and you're like, what? Like how that
Yeah.
hasn't happened yet?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
All right, since we're on this about the money thing, and would you be interested in seeing what kind of effort James Harden gives once Saudi Arabia gives him all that money for the Saudi
Yeah,
league?
yeah, they
What
gotta
what
know.
what kind of effort are they going to get out of him? Because once you get that
They're
bag,
not gonna get Dwight Howard making 89 points
no,
in Korea.
no, you're gonna get yeah, you're gonna, you're gonna get Harden walking the ball up. Remember, like, taking 16 steps before he dribbles. There is
Yeah.
that. We've got to break down those bad. That'll be our NBA pre NBA promo. We'll watch all these bad traveling videos and we'll comment on them. There
Oh
are,
my
if you've ever
god.
watched this YouTube video clip of why the NBA is ridiculed the way that it is as far as traveling and no defense goes,
Yeah.
there's a highlight reel from, I think they only took it from 2 years worth of clips, but there are guys walking 6, 7, 8, 9 steps. I kid you not, with the ball in their hand and not
I've
getting called for travel.
I don't understand how they ever call travel anymore.
Yeah,
How can you
why
call it?
even do it?
Because like travel by the basic definition of their law
It's two
is
and a half to 3
anything,
steps.
yeah,
Yep,
anything more than this is a travel.
yep.
So now you've got judgment windows. You've got 5 to 7 depending
And
on who you are. I'm going
and
to take 10 and who cares? Because you
yeah.
gave him 5 to 7. It's still more.
Remember when they changed it too? It was because of the Euro step.
Yeah.
They changed it, they gave you a step and a half or an extra step, like, 'cause you could go sideways. It wasn't considered a step forward, so you could sidestep and then take another step up and lay it up. The Euro step or whatever. Get off that fucking train because there's no way that's what it was from. They
It's
just got lazy. They didn't wanna call anything. There's too many free throws being made and all that stuff too. I can't go to an NBA game where dudes are shooting 50, 50, 60 free throws too. That just makes the game so fucking long and boring. Oh, the other thing
absolutely.
that was bitched about this past weekend too was the new college football rules with the first downs and the clock running. Ooh, so many people are pissed off about this. Michigan State bitched and complained because they only had 4 possessions. So, dude, be better. That didn't stop Oregon or fucking USC or Oklahoma from putting 70 points up. Maybe your offense just fucking sucks.
Yeah, and to further that point too, Pat, I totally forgot they did that. Did
Yeah,
not
but
notice it on any of the games I was watching, and
no, because
I
those
didn't
teams
pay attention.
they weren't complaining about it. These teams are complaining about it. That's why you
Oh my
notice it.
god,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, no, I didn't even notice that rule change until complaints were made.
Actually, you know what? It did come back and bite Michigan in the ass twice. They had 12 guys on the field. That was another call that I do agree with some other fans, like some Michigan State fans saying
Yeah.
Michigan got these homer calls. There was 12 guys on the field. They reviewed the play and they didn't even count the guys. Yeah, I
My
agree on
only
that
thought
one.
process with that was I watched the ref in the previous play give East Carolina a significant amount of time, and on the very next one,
Yeah.
that was the Michigan player nonchalant going off the field? Yes. It was the call should have been made? Absolutely. Was it a home call? Probably. But I did notice in that video that the defensive player was not given the same time that the other team was given in the same scenarios. So maybe they chalked that up to a bad call because the ref's back was turned
They're
to the
bitching
Michigan
about that.
sideline.
They're saying the officials need to be better on it too. Like they're not being consistent with the new rules. And that's a given. This is the first real game that a
Yes.
lot of these officials have had. They have to figure it out just as easy as
And
the
it is
coaches do.
still college football,
Right.
right?
At
Like
the end of the day,
it's
it's
not
still
the
college
NFL
sports.
here. The college referees make a lot of untimely calls.
Amateur
Fuck Ohio
calls.
State.
Yep.
Ohio State wouldn't have half the championships they have if it wasn't for college referees. Okay.
There's 2 losses to Michigan and a Michigan State one that probably should have been called back as well, which stopped
Exactly.
Michigan from going to the national title game as well.
So let's be honest here. And let's even throw in the South Carolina call, the Jadavian Clowney play. That was the fourth down. That was clearly not, right? These calls happen all the time.
Well, the
Absolutely.
the Jadeveon Clowney now one that would be considered targeting because
Mm,
he launched himself.
because he
Um,
launched himself. Yeah. They
yeah,
stopped showing that now, finally. They don't
yeah,
show, they just talk about it now. I
yeah.
mean, at one point, it was a reoccurring
Dude,
clip entering into ESPN.
did you see one of the hits that the Michigan safety had this week on the East Carolina guy? I felt bad for that kid. He came over the middle and that Michigan safeties are hitting fucking
Oh, they're,
hard.
yeah, that's why I was that's in the
Fucking
beginning of the
hitting
show, I called that
hard.
out. They're big and they're fast
And
and they're
physical.
hungry.
Yeah.
It's nice to see,
They're
man.
ready. They're ready already in Ohio State form. But all right, as always, Charles, you send us off here.
Hey, listen, guys, it's a crazy world out there. Wives, I understand that with the loss of your husbands during this season and the upcoming hunting season, that times may get hard. Understand that we love you very much and we absolutely care about you. And this is why we have to do these things, because if we didn't, we would have no outlet to get rid of the stress that all of your personalities put on us all year long. I love you all, though. Honestly, seriously, joking aside, smile more, guys. The world out there is crazy and you don't know who needs it.